Let's call the meeting of September 3rd, 2013 to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I see we have some members of the Boy Scouts here. Would you come down and do us the honor of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Go ahead, sir.
Will the audience please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Valdivia?
Here.
Councilmember Friend?
Present.
Mayor Velasquez?
Here.
Councilmember Scatini?
Here.
Councilmember Gomez?
Present.
Interim City Manager Rivera?
Present.
Interim City Attorney Deborah Mall? And Chief of Police Westrick?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Verification of agenda posting.
The agenda for the City Council meeting of September 3rd, 2013 was posted on the bulletin board at City Hall on August 29th at 10:28 a.m. per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item A. Are there any items the council wants to pull for discussion?
813.
Item, which number?
813.
A13. Are there any other items?
Motion to approve.
Wait, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I have a speaker's card for A10.
A10.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. A10.
Marty Richmond?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'd like to open by saying, please forgive me if my voice and hearing, I'm having trouble regulating them today, so if it goes up and down, it's not intentional. I notice on this we are relinquishing our, essentially, the LaSalle plant. I don't care about the 1 acre of land involved, but nowhere in the report did I see what the value of our half of that plant is? That's my first question for staff. And my second one is whether or not this would receive or influence at all what it costs to run the plant. Will we continue to run it the way it's being run now with the same people, whoever's paying for it? Or is once the ownership goes over to the water district, will the water district be able to come back and ping us for repairs on that plant? Will they be putting their own people in there to run it at some rate? What difference will it make, essentially, in the cost of operating the plant, in addition to the fact that we are relinquishing our half, whatever it's worth, may not be much, for no consideration? Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers? Councilmember Friend?
Is anybody on staff going to answer that question?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this property transfer is associated with the entire plan that we have with San Benito County Water District and the Sunny Slope County Water District with regard to transition of facilities. There has not been valuation performed with regard to the facilities, but that has been considered in the transfer of assets as well as the debt financing, as well as the capital buy-down that is being pledged by San Benito County Water District. So everything in concert with regard to the agreement signed by the council in January with regard to the water supply and treatment agreement between those agencies bears relevance to this transfer of property and moving forward with the reconstruction of the salt facilities. Now, operations are considered as part of that transfer plan as well. It's all combined within the rate studies that we've adopted recently and have implemented into the entire Huant program. So this is a transfer of the facilities, again, that are part of that agreement that has been executed by the council and merely formalizes another step of the process to the new partnership and the new water supply arrangements that the city is within.
Thank you. Councilmember Friend?
So we really don't have a cost figure on that?
Not, there is a valuation assessed for the facilities as part of the city's assets and inventories by the finance department. But in terms of fair market value, you know, how do you establish that? And as such, through the negotiations with the agencies, the Water District, as well as Sunny Slope, it was agreed to a long time ago to transfer the facilities as part of the new partnership. And so we're following through with that transfer to the district.
Last week, 2 weeks ago, that the maintenance and operation goes completely over.
That role will be assumed by Sunny Slope County Water District as part of the transfer of facilities. Will be entering or have actually executed an agreement with the San Benito County Water District for the operations and maintenance of the LaSalle facilities. That's a current arrangement that we have with Sunny Slope. However, that arrangement will now move forward with the County Water District. So, in effect, everything just kind of changes over to this San Benito County Water District with regard to ownership, and operations remain the same with Sunny Slope.
And we share the operation costs, 30%.
That's correct. It's a relationship that we'll have with Sunny Slope in the treated water component of the expenses associated with operating the facility. Correct. We purchase the treated water now from San Benito County Water District rather than the arrangements we've had in the past with the Water Treatment Agency.
Council member, is that it? Councilmember Valdivia?
Really, I had a question. I remember that the plant was operated in conjunction with Sunny Slope.
Mm-hmm.
So is that also going to be happening at the Sunny Slope area, at Sunny Slope level? Water district?
In terms of,
Because we were operating that, we were doing like 50-50, weren't we, Bill?
correct.
We were,
Mhm.
yeah.
And such will be the same arrangement. However, the contract arrangements are different. Rather than being partners with Sunny Slope Water in the supply and treatment, they in turn become a contract operator to San Benito County Water District for the operations of those facilities, and the city will then purchase treated water. So we're no longer in the water treatment business. That will belong with San
Okay.
Benito
That was going to
County.
include also the real estate piece of it, the real estate that the plant's on?
Yeah.
The ownership, who's the ownership to that, city or Sunny Slope?
Well, as part of the history with the city's water enterprise, the city is partners with Sunny Slope in an agency that's termed the Water Treatment Agency. That Water Treatment Agency, an agreement was executed in 2002, which provided a co-funding arrangement for purchase of the LaSalle properties and facilities. And as such, Sunny Slope will be taking separate action with their board for the purpose of transference of facilities. But currently, the understandings are that in the past, even with Sunny Slope having reimbursed the city for those costs, the formal transference of that property and facilities never did occur. And so the city's action tonight will transfer those facilities to the San Benito County Water District. Sunny Slope will take similar action to preserve the same concept as per the new water supply and treatment agreement that the city has entered into with the county. And then we move forward with those new arrangements.
Okay.
Councilmember Gomez?
No, I don't have any questions.
Councilmember Scatini?
Yeah, I do. I have a couple. Number one, Rudy, is the Sunny Slope going to come back and hit the people in Hollister with higher fees because they're taking over that plant, that LaSalle plant?
Sunny Slope will not be doing that, and I don't believe that will be the case with the county water district.
Do you know for
either.
sure?
Well, I don't know anything for sure, sir, but,
Well,
you know, the arrangements are such that,
Can a person
That
get a
won't
copy of that agreement with Sunny Slope and the Hollister and the group?
yeah, between the county and
The
Sunny
county,
Slope,
right.
we'll look to getting you a copy of that.
Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you. I would agree. I think the issue here might be that we transfer over something, and today we're paying one price, and next year we're paying a totally different price based on increased costs. So I understand what you're saying, but for the sake of clarity, I think we owe it to ourselves and the public to make sure what we're dealing here. So if we can get maybe a report back to understand this clearly. I think there is a value here, and we need to understand what that value is. I understand it's a partnership. We're all moving in together as far as working with different areas of the production, but I think at least I'd like to know some of that information.
An important element to the transference of this property is the ability for the district, the water district, to award the contract for the LaSalle facility upgrades project. That, again, if you'll recall, is a regulatory compliance program addressed towards the disinfection byproducts rule. So this is all part, again, of the arrangements that we've had with the district. In terms of the pricing arrangements that occurred with regard to the city and its relationship, all of that is public information and can be obtained from the water district itself, as well as the whole entire HUANT program, the financial program associated with such. So, we'd be happy to provide that information.
Again, I think Rudy hit it. I just wanted to just reiterate that this item before you is really just a formality. The agreement has already been done. I mean, if we don't do this, we could be in breach of contract. And not only that, as Rudy just said, there's an expectation that this project goes out to bid and is awarded in the next few weeks. So, I mean, this is hugely important for us to get done. But as far as the documentation and whatnot, with the 218 fees and everything, those have all been established. It's not necessarily something that Sunny Slope is just going to be able to come back and change the rules, on the citizens of the city of Hollister who happen to have Sunny Slope County Water District in the next few months. And again, everything goes basically to the county water district. Sunny Slope continues to run it just like they have for the past 7 years, 5 years?
Yeah.
How long is it? 7 years, 8 years,
Since
whatever it's been now?
12 years.
Oh, 12 years now.
Yeah.
Well, my half-time place. Anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that the most important thing is to actually get the transfer done. But
Another critical piece of information here is the fact that Sunny Slope's going to pay the same treated water costs that the city will. So we're both considered retailers of that wholesale water that will be provided by the county water district. So, in terms of the operations contract for the facilities themselves, West Hills to follow, we're constantly applying the scrutinies of economics to the operations. It's not like they have a free rein with regard to what water costs are. There are arrangements in that regard.
I think the point we're probably making here is we need to be sure, for the public's sake, a good partnership is a partnership that has checks and balances, and we need to make sure that we're all staying together here, working to keep that price down as much as possible and not increasing that cost to a number that we hadn't seen before. So if that price is $1 today, we want to know it's not $2 tomorrow, is what I'm pointing out. So that information to us would be helpful. I understand the urgency of this part of the agreement to move forward in the contract, but this is information I think we should all have as of now, what it is costing us, and so when we move forward, we're clear on it.
The rate study did consider all of the costs of water and operations, capital expenditures with the HUANT program. The rates that were recently adopted by the City Council will cover a 5-year period of time. That's the window typically that we operate under with regard to water enterprise programs. So we've tried to anticipate those expenses. There have been commitments with regard to the water costs, and as such, that is what Council has been asked to approve within the recent past.
Okay. I have one more question for you. Is it really that important tonight that we approve this resolution?
Yes, sir.
It can't wait till next week in next council meeting?
It complicates the progression of the award of contract. Bids will open on the LaSalle Improvements Program within the next week or two. The San Benito County Water District will then take to their board, I believe, the 24th of September, action to award that contract. So it really pushes us to the margin by waiting. There still is, work to do with regard to the transference, so, the timeliness is important here.
Well, go ahead.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah, just quickly, just as a suggestion, and these are just kind of my general thoughts. So whenever, being here on my second term, my 5th year on here, I would make a suggestion to staff that when you bring something to us, almost expect a delay. So always give yourself a cushion for questions and for future answers to these questions. I think Mr. Richmond is asking a valid question. I don't see the big deal on it. I will say, and I really didn't have anything to say on this item, I think, until I overheard this back and forth discussion, and that's as staff, we should be prepared to answer those questions, and when we're not, we can't be expected to approve an item that we don't have the entire information on. We don't have the complete picture. So as much as I understand that, and we all, I think, understand that this is an important item that needs to be approved, 2 weeks from today, the Sunny Slope County Water District is going to meet. We could approve this item on Monday. It could go to them on Tuesday, the following day. They could go ahead and do that. But it's hard for us to approve an item, and I apologize, I can only speak for myself here, but it's hard for me to approve an item when we don't have all the questions answered. So just because we're being told that this item needs to be approved, so are we supposed to just approve it because it needs to be approved? My suggestion is that these items should be brought to us with a nice cushion, so when we do have questions from the mayor or the council, that we have plenty of time to say, hey, wait up, we don't have enough answers. Can you bring this back to us next time we meet so we could have all the final answers to make that final decision? I don't think it may not even change the outcome of the vote at all. Obviously, these are things that are just kind of being done as they need to be done because this has already been approved. But I just get kind of frustrated because I think that we cannot be expected to vote on an item like this when we don't have all the information. So that's all. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Yes, Councilmember Valdez.
I just wanted to say also that, that I also approve the, the concept of this item. And I think what's happened is that it's taken so long for us to get from point A to point Z or whatever that it's hard to remember everything that we've done. And Billy, according to what you're saying, that we must have discussed this already and it was approved already?
Absolutely.
It was part of the
And again,
agreement?
I think from where I stand, and I probably put Rudy in a bad spot because I basically requested him to do this because one of the things that I wanted to make sure is that I had authorization from the council to sign the escrow documents to transfer. Again, the decision to transfer the facility, you guys made 9 months ago. Had nothing to do with me. So it's really one of those kind of a bad timing situations in the sense that I asked Rudy, I said, let's put something on the agenda that authorizes me or my designee to go ahead and execute transfer documents so that we can get this thing through escrow and everything's cool. Technically, we may not have had to even do this. But again, this is something that I wanted to do as a formality. I think it's important for you folks to know that what I'm signing and what I'm not signing so that, I don't end up getting in trouble. But the concept and the contractual obligation that the city of Hollister made here was made 9 months ago, 8 months ago. 9 months ago.
Progressive.
So, I would like to go ahead and make a motion to approve 2013-132 at this time.
There's a motion. Is there
I'll second that.
a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
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 Motion does not carry.
Can I make a motion that we continue this item to the next meeting to give staff enough time to come back with answers to the questions?
Okay. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
And just so I'm clear, the answers that you folks want at our next meeting is the value of the property and the 50% interest in the facility?
And the cost to maintain the facility or use the facility yearly. Was it? So we're clear on it.
Mr. Mayor, I personally want to see the contract. I want to see it. I'm on that water board, and this is something new to me.
That shouldn't be new to you.
Well, it is, this lease-off we never discussed the lease-off at all, never.
We did, but let's get that information.
I want to see
So
the
we're all
contract.
clear on it?
I want to see the contract. then I'll make my decision.
Yeah, and if we possibly could, Mr. Mayor, because Councilmember Scatini may have extra questions, if maybe you two could sit aside on the side to have those questions answered before it comes
great.
back to council, because I don't want to sit here in 2 weeks or 13 days, and I just want to make sure the answers are clear, and that way we can move forward.
The contract, if I may ask a question, would be the reference contract between Sunny Slope and the Water District?
I want to see the agreement that these agencies put together on that leasehold. I want to see the contract.
The final contract
The
that was
final
executed by the
contract.
council as well?
Right,
Okay.
before I can
All
make a
right.
decision on it.
That's fine.
I'd like to see the current cost to operate,
Okay.
so we have a
We
good
can do that.
understanding of that, so make sure we can look at that, make sure we don't have a huge escalation of cost.
That should be in the contract, really.
Let's see what we're operating at now. Okay, let's
Thank you.
move forward to item A13.
Yes, I'd like to pull A13, 2013-134 from the resolution agenda and put it on for next council meeting. I'd like to have a little bit more study on it, the actual costs for that resolution, and do some research on it.
Is that a motion?
That's my motion.
We've already approved these positions in the budget. What do we
Well,
need to
is
talk
there,
about
let's,
now? We
that's
already
it.
approved these.
Is there a second before we go into discussion? Is there a second?
I didn't hear the motion.
His motion is to table this until the next meeting, so we have more information on this item. Is there a second? Okay, there's not a second, so we'll,
I'll make a motion that we approve.
2013-134.
I'll second that motion.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Move on to item B1.
Motion to approve warrant registers?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye, motion carries. Move on to item B2.
Motion to approve resolution 2013-05?
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Move on to item C, public input. This is a time for anyone in the audience to speak on any item not on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. When the city clerk calls your name, please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the city council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Please note that state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. William Millar.
Yes, my name is Bill Millar, and I'm a member of the local community garden. Community gardens have been popping up all over, as you probably are very well aware, a new one in Morgan Hill. Our garden was started in 1999 by Robin Pollard and her husband David. Since that time, a lot of effort has been put in. It started with just a few people. We now have probably more than a dozen gardeners that are there. And what I wanted to inform you of is what is a community garden for? There's a lot of reasons for having a community garden. Many, many reasons. But basically, we're up there as part of the public. We're part of the community. This garden has been operational for quite some time and is very functional. Since we started it, we have now organized things quite well. And I'd like to invite you all to come up and take a look at what is happening in this community. What you'll see if you come up is a garden that is attended almost every hour of daylight by somebody up there. What you'll also see is a nice clean area. Of course, a garden isn't perfectly clean, but it's there. There's a pathway through it. It's always open for anybody to walk through. People do on a daily basis. And they ask us questions. They're part of our community. We answer questions, we give them produce. Happy people come through this place. So it's a matter of education and sharing and part of the community. What you won't see if you come up there are encampments. You won't see drug dealing going on. You don't see criminal activity. Why? Because we're always there. We're part of this thing which is part of Hollister. This was done in an agreement with Robin and the city, and it's been there for quite some time. We take a lot of pride in the garden. And what I'd like to see is for you guys to come up and share this pride of the community with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Robin Pollard.
Hi, my name is Robin Pollard. I live at 400 Hill Street, and I've written a prepared statement. I'd like to thank you for your service to the community, and many of us have come tonight to raise our concerns for Park Hill, the city property adjacent to the park. This summer, the neighborhood became aware of our R4 rezoning. In checking out the zoning map, it was noticed that some of the city's property has been rezoned R4 as well. While many of us appreciate the local need for multi-residential housing, Park Hill is not an appropriate place for it. The top of the hill should be secured for future generations as some form of public open space. With the gradual shift of city services returning to 5th Street, the buildings up there will soon be vacant. Whether any of these structures are candidates for repurpose or demolition, the land should remain public, not R4. Vacant structures will bring trouble, and the neighborhood and myself would like to work with you to mitigate these mitigate any detriment to our neighborhood while we preserve open space. While I appreciate the fact of the lack of funding for such projects in these economic hard times, prosperity will someday return. Then to make it a place for the whole city to enjoy. In my research of the many different federal, state, and local public agencies to have utilized this site, I found that the compound was built by the CCC, the Civilian Conservation Corps, in the late 30s as part of FDR's Back to Work programs. But the information I found most interesting was the San Justo Homestead Association map of 1870, the town of Hollister street layout. The parcels for sale were on the flatland, and the hill was left unparceled. It almost looks as if they were planning for open space even when there was nothing but open space. In the decades to come, Park Hill should remain an open public space. I thank you for your time, and I hope that you'll maintain that.
Thank you very much.
Barbara Minch.
Hi, Mayor and City Councilmen. Thank you for your time. That was very emotional and so powerful. Thanks, Robin, making me cry. I'm here to speak on behalf of the community garden as well, on behalf of the Moms Club and about 25 mothers, including myself, who are very active up there. We have a plot with the Moms Club. I personally have a plot. Another Moms Club member has a plot, and I host monthly Moms Club garden club activities up there. The last Monday of the month, I host a Harvest of the Month monthly for the Moms Club that we are sampling, and we're growing different vegetables seasonally, and we're sampling them at our Harvest of the Month play groups that I organize. So it's a really powerful place up there that's connecting moms and kids to the land, and it deserves your protection and your consideration.
Thank you.
Marty Richmond.
My input's on a different subject. I wonder if the council will agree to let the Park Hill people all speak in turn, and then I'll go. It's on a completely different subject. so I won't break your train of thought on this.
I don't have any other speakers.
You don't have any other speakers? Okay. As you all know, I love to pull out these little tidbits of information concerning Hollister and San Benito County. A lot of people don't like those tidbits because they are facts. I just ran across a very, very interesting fact. And I can tell you, I'm just tired of hearing people come up here and tell me that every time my water bill goes up, it's only pennies a day, and the sewers are only pennies a day, and everything's only a penny a day, because I found out, I read somewhere that those pennies add up to dollars, and that shocked me. And then the dollars add up to hundreds of dollars and thousands of dollars, and my wife had to call 911, but fortunately I recovered before the call went through. The second, based on median income, the second highest county paying property taxes as portion of their median income is San Benito County. The people of San Benito County are paying, on average, 4.32% of their median income in property taxes. That's second only to Marin, where the value of the property is unseeable, where they're paying 4.8% because of the value of the property. So it's not how much you make, it's what you're left with at the end of the month. And the people of this county and the people of this city are being left with nothing because of these enormous costs. And I resent being misrepresented by people, for instance, Harry, who comes up here, he's a nice guy, who misrepresents what I said. I never said, don't treat the water. I never said, let's drink dirty water. I supported a $120 million sewer plant because I don't want dirty water running down the street. I've lived in the third world, and I know what that's like. What I said was, it should not cost $30 million to do what they're doing. That's the issue, and that's always the issue here. It is not, should we do it, should we not do it? Do not get trapped by that false argument. The issue is that a reasonable cost for what we're doing? And you know what? It isn't. What happens here is the government people who get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that work, say, that's what it costs, we'll just pass it on. We just pass it on to the ratepayers. And the reason I asked the question earlier today, I'll give you the reason and I'll wrap up, was because Sunny Slope Water is one of the most expensive water districts in the world. The manager of Sunny Slope Water makes almost as much money as the four-star general that runs the United States Armed Forces. He's got 19 employees, and he makes $240,000 almost in pay, and another $40,000 or $50,000 a year in benefits. And if you let Sunny Slope run the water purification plant, you're going to pay for that. That's the issue. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Brandy Garcia.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. My name is Brandy Garcia. I'm from the Office of Assemblymember Alejo, and I came here to make an announcement. Assemblymember Alejo is partnering with the Contractor State Licensing Board as well as Jóvenes de Antaño to have a senior scam stopper seminar here in Hollister on Wednesday, September 18th, 10 a.m. to noon at the Hollister Community Center. Experts will provide fraud information relating to home and auto repair, telecommunications, identity theft, Medicare, and more. Welcome everyone, public, to come enjoy and check out the event, and I have some flyers here if anybody's interested. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Last speaker's card is from Jack Kirk.
Got my escorts with me here. These young men are from the Boy Scout Troop 777, 787. And for about 19 years, our troops have been providing those flags on poles down most of the downtown area of Hollister. In fact, we got permission, I think my son was, who's now 35, was 16 when he asked for permission at Downtown Association. We have holes in the sidewalk, put those in. But during the bike rally, 35 of those flags were stolen. And Mike Chambliss and the police department recovered some of the flags and returned them to us, but there's 35 flags that are still missing. And they took them away, they were thrown in trees, they were carried away on motorcycles. So we had to replace those flags so we can continue to do service for the community and provide those at a cost of about $906. And so we're coming to the city council for them maybe to consider if there's a way to reimburse the troops or to maybe gain some money from the rally association around the bike rally so we could replace those flags. The boys buy the raw materials, they do all the work, they stain them, they sand them, they provide them, but that's something they provide the community. Like I said, I think we were guessing around 18 to 19 years. So, and they go up during most of the holidays around 12 to 14 times a year. So, any questions of the young men? They look pretty sharp, don't they? Okay, thank you for your time. I also gave Councilman Gomez a copy of the bill.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Our estimates, so
Yeah, thanks,
we can share
Jack.
with you.
I think
Yeah,
we're all proud of you guys for what you do. I know I appreciate when I see those flags out there, and we will be taking care of you, I believe. And Councilmember Scatini, you had something you wanted to comment on?
I'd just like to ask Jack how many flags were stolen if he got 35 back?
There's 35 stolen that we did not return, that were not received back. I know that Mike Chambliss said he found about 8 of them. He put them back in the holes. And then I know that I think there was a few couple down at the police station at the parking garage. So, but we're still missing 35, and so they were buying the materials and they're putting the flags back together.
Thank you. Do you
I'm
have
sorry,
any-
I walked away, but is there any other questions?
Any council member want to make a comment?
Well, I would like to see this brought back on the agenda so that we can take some action on it. Right now, we're kind of,
We can't do it tonight, but
we're in public input. So
I appreciate that. I wasn't sure of the
the
procedure and stuff, so.
We've got your bill, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. It's just we can't take action tonight on it.
Oh.
Right, we understand.
go ahead.
Yeah, I
Councilmember.
also wanted you to mention that the Boy Scout Club is a nonprofit organization, right?
Yes,
Yeah, because right now, the Community Foundation, they have some grants open until October where your club can apply for this.
Okay.
And I would if I was you, because, it's important enough, but that's another entity that you could look at.
okay.
And they have a wide range of different things that they fund, and this is a really good, one to fund. I don't know if they fund your group already or not, but I know that the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts are on their list.
All right.
But I would apply. It's a community foundation, and they're on San Benito Street across from the Running Rooster.
Okay.
I don't know their address. I don't have it memorized. But if you want to, you can give me a call, and I can give you the information.
Okay.
My number is 637-9275.
Okay, 637-19,
Yeah, 637-9275. And I can
Okay.
give you the information, who to call, et cetera.
okay, very good.
Thank you.
In the back here is Rob Eggers is the scoutmaster for the 2 troops, and then Brent Hawks is the, who generated the email. He's the committee chairman.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you for your
Appreciate
time.
Thank you.
Okay, item D and E, there's no business. Item F1.
Mr. Mayor, while the audience or part of the audience is leaving, perhaps we could get Gordon Machado to come to the podium. He's our speaker on this item.
Here he comes.
I can just give you a quick little report as well. As you know, with the courthouse opening up shortly, there's been a desire to rehabilitate the tunnel that goes under 4th Street. I think Gordon and the HDA and several other folks have been looking at a way to rehabilitate that. They've gone to COG, and COG has identified a source of funding for a portion of the project. However, what it requires is that the City of Hollister sort of be the pass-through agency. So we would receive the transportation funds from COG and then pass them through to the Hollister Downtown Association. And like Gordon is here, and he can probably give you a little bit more detail on what else they're doing down there. But the money that we would be throwing, the money that the COG would be contributing to the project really is pure rehabilitation efforts, new electrical, fixing some of the safety, health and safety issues that are at the location. And then I think they also are going to do a nice beautification project as well. So go ahead.
Basically true. Well, the Downtown Association, under the design committee, a couple of years ago, when it was initiated that the courthouse was going to come to fruition, we decided that through a lot of it was on the Facebook, that people were concerned and remember the history. Those who went to grammar school at the Fremont School, I think it's one of the things they truly remember of their time at the Fremont School. So,
What is this Fremont School you're talking about?
yeah, you destroyed it. But the tunnel itself was actually built in 1924 by one of the then work programs by the federal government. They funded it and it was built under the auspices of the City of Hollister. And then I think it was transferred to the state of California when the state highway went through. But regardless of that, we felt the use would be increased by the use of the new courthouse and the traffic in there. And what we wanted to do is renovate it, and we got an estimate just for that part of it. The $5,000 would include painting and the good epoxy paint, lighting, the new lighting system, and a security system. And that would cost approximately $5,000. What we also like to do, because it is built in 1924, and like to get it on some kind of a registry as a historical piece of. And the other part is we would like to do some murals. We contacted Gavilan College and Arturo, who did the mural at the Knife and Fork Grill and Chill, that alley. I think it's one of the better murals in Hollister. They're willing to do it for approximately $4,000 or $5,000. So we're on the bandwagon now. We're beating the bushes. I think we have some pretty good sources to fund that project. That would include probably a picture. If you're not aware of it, Colonel Hollister's house was on that property initially. After Colonel Hollister's was the Hollister Grammar School, which is about a 3-story wood structure school was there. I believe it burned down, and that's when the Fremont School was built after that. So we'd like to do some renderings of those 3 buildings and give a little history of what's at the other end of the tunnel. So that's the program that the HDA would like to do. Again, we contacted COG, and through the pedestrian bicycle funding, they had adequate funding. So with your resolution, we'll be there this month requesting the allocation to the city for the pass-through.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Gordon. I appreciate your work. And I actually went to Fremont for summer school.
You're probably last class there.
That's funny. Gordon went to the Hollister School.
Interesting.
That hurt.
Yeah, all I remember of the tunnel was going through it when I lived in VH and going to Rancho. I used to occasionally take it. Most of the time, it was used as a porta potty, or I guess not a portable potty, but a potty. And yeah, it wasn't the most pleasant place to go through. So I think a lot of people would use the road, and the whole purpose of it was to avoid the pedestrian traffic safety issues. So, yeah, I'm happy to hear that you guys are moving forward with wanting to enhance that with lighting and murals and all that stuff. So I'm very happy to see that you guys are moving forward with that. So I think this is a great idea, and I think the folks at COG, the COG directors would be supportive of it as well. So anyway, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Member Scatini?
What I remember about the tunnel is that there was a inmate at the jail, when I was a deputy there, he was on work furlough on the jail, and he was an inmate at the jail, and he would work furlough, and he was missing one day, and he was in the tunnel dead for 2 days before we found him. I remember that. He drowned it. No, not really drowned, but he was found dead in that tunnel. That was early 60s. Beginning 60s, before
Maybe we
he
put
got out
that
of high
in the
school.
mural.
Part of the mural?
What's that?
Part of the mural.
Is that part of the mural?
But,
Part of the history.
yeah.
Councilmember Friend?
No,
Councilmember Valdivia? Do you have any comments? Okay, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move on to item G1, reports from city council committees. Councilmember Gomez?
No committee meetings.
Councilmember Scatini?
No committee meetings.
Councilmember Friend?
Just a real quick one that Robbie and I, as a subcommittee for the 400 block, we had one meeting talking about ideas, and first of all, we figured out that we're going to have to wait until the city owns it before we can really take a lot of steps forward, but we're leaning that way, and we're ready to take a step. So just wanted to bring everybody up that we did have a meeting, and we did talk about some ideas on what, and I think I passed out the drawings the last meeting, what we talked about. So we'll hold more meetings, and we'll be publicizing, I think, pretty quick.
Thank you. Councilmember Valdivia?
No, I'll pass.
I don't have anything to report also. Move to item 2, reports from city council. Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah, the only thing I have to say is I want to thank the police department for their work the past couple of, well, continually for what they do, but specifically with the item regarding the young girl that was missing for a few days there. I know that the police department's work is, we live our lives, we work 9 to 5, and we don't realize the impacts that you guys have on our community. So we appreciate all the work from your staff chief and everybody else that was involved. I know you worked collaboratively with other law enforcement agencies, so we appreciate the work, and it's easy to play, unfortunately, for some people who are not involved in law enforcement, it's easy to have an opinion on how you folks should do your job. But last time I checked, I'm not a sworn officer, and neither are a lot of people on social media and all the they're definitely experts when they want to be experts. But it's easy to hide behind a profile on Facebook. But I feel confident because we have a group of professionals at our police department that get their job done under your leadership, Chief. So I appreciate all the hard work. Thank you.
Councilmember Scatini.
I'd like to have a city manager at the next council meeting come back with a full, complete report on that motorcycle rally, how much money was made, and we should, by this time, have a report. Been over 2 months. Do you have any idea when we can get that report?
When was Mark coming back to town?
Soon. I don't know the exact date.
Still is.
How about this? I will give you a complete report as to when we can get it to you, and we'll shoot for the next. We'll shoot for the next Monday,
Yeah.
for next council meeting.
Yeah, well, I would like to see a complete report. It's been more than 2 months and people are asking. And I would like to see a report on that.
Thank you. Councilmember Frank.
No, I have nothing.
Councilmember Valdivia?
No, it's just that I think Bill is going to give an update on the Vista Meadow. Yeah,
Yes,
and
I
I'll
will.
wait for that, I'll let him report. Thank you.
All right. I'd like to have that report for the refinancing of those side funds. I know we've asked for it for a few meetings, so I want to make sure we get that up here so we're understanding where we're at. And I also would like to get the report on the rally. I don't think it's been a while already, and I think we have to be careful not to let this drag on. Whether or not the manager is here, we need to have information. We should do that in a timely manner so that we can move on with planning for the following year as quickly as possible. So I'd appreciate those reports. Let's see here, city manager.
Okay, well, I'll kind of ride your coattails on that. I can tell you that staff is preparing for the next year's rally already. We know that we have a lot of work ahead of us as far as new contracts and arrangements that we are going to be entering into with the Hollister Downtown Association. But just want to let the council know that it's still our goal to get that done hopefully by October, November. And yes, we are right now we are actually working on it. To get with Pauline on the Vista Meadows sort of site distance, I believe Rudy, well, he was here earlier. They did go out. We are going to be doing some red curving out on Park Street so that we can increase the amount of site distance that is there at the driveway at Vista Meadows. So we should be able to mitigate any of the health and safety issues that we have related to that driveway. So that should. I'll be able to tell you at our next meeting whether or not that work has actually been completed, and there shouldn't be any reason why it's not done by then. So, the third and final thing for me is there's a workshop on September 17th for the Complete Streets. Was a Complete Streets program that includes portions of Nash, Tres Pinos, Sunny Slope, and McCrae Street. It takes place from 5 to 6 is basically a walking tour, and then from 6 to 8:30 is sort of a design the solutions component of the workshop. It's going to be both done in English and Spanish. There's going to be refreshments. It's actually after the walking tour, the design shred is basically taking place at Rancho San Justo's gym, and there's also going to be childcare provided. But one of the things that we want to make sure is with the child care is not you don't get to drop your kid off and go to the movies. You actually have to participate in the Complete Streets program. So just, again, my ill attempt at a bad joke. Go ahead.
Are you done there? I was going to ask you for another report sometime soon. Could we get a report on any complaints we're getting on now that they've started to do the mitigation work on the PG&E site?
We have not had any. We have not had any complaints so far on that. They're actually doing a pretty good job keeping things clean. There was, at the beginning of the project, they thought that there might be some slight odors that came from the project, but we have not received any complaints whatsoever as it related to any odors or whatnot.
I suspect they will pick up when we start hauling dirt out of there. Yeah, that's going to be quite a 135 trucks a day out of there.
Is that what they said? Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be tie up downtown.
And actually, if you'd like, I can give you a complete report on that at your next meeting too, because they'll actually be pretty well underway at that point.
You may want to talk to the project manager out there because she's got a map and everything.
Oh yeah, they've been really good about staying in contact with us and letting us know the whole way. We had an initial meeting about a month or two ago with the PD and the fire and let them know what sort of if there is an accident, what they would be dealing with if something happens there. So they've been very, very good about keeping us informed as to their progress. So that's it from me.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. City Attorney? Okay, City Clerk?
Thanks. I just wanted to let you know that hopefully by the next meeting, the air conditioner will be repaired. It's been pretty hot in here. And then work has begun on the Lights On celebration. So if anyone is interested, they should contact the Hollister Downtown Association.
Thank you very much.
Jerry, are we going to have a booth at the fair? And are Are you going to be looking for
Yes,
people?
we are. The police department will have their booth, and the city will have our booth with the little plane in it, and I'll be getting a schedule out to you soon.
Thank you. Chief?
And just to dovetail, we'll also, the fire department will have a booth with the PD at the fair as well. I have a couple of things. I'll be as brief as possible. We got the JAG grant for this year, so it'll fund safety equipment. The last time we actually bought safety equipment was about, I think, 94, 95, so lasts a long time. It'll be all paid for, no general fund money. We bought these, and these are the new kind of flares. A flare costs $1.50 a piece. We buy about $4,500 a year in flares. For supply of these, it's about $5,000. These last about 10 years. My math has got us saving about $40,000 or $50,000. So I think it's a pretty good investment for that. It's kind of neat. They actually go inside cones as well, and they flash up the whole cone. It's pretty nice. It's a neat thing. Pretty tough. You can step on them, run them over. Pretty neat stuff, though. Technology. We tip. You requested some arson signage, and we now have some for the PD and the fire departments. Also can do it for schools as well. So if you guys all like those, we can put those out. And then last but not least, of course, we had our incident that Councilman Gomez was referring to last week. We had a lot of people to thank. Mostly it's the City of Hollister's residents to thank. They put out almost 3,500 flyers in our region. Just common citizens that came to aid to a family here in Hollister. And that was amazing to me. Totally amazing. Staples donated 3,000 flyers to this cause. It was great. The FBI came in and helped us with technology. National Center for Exploited Missing Children came in immediately and helped us. Lodi PD helped us, obviously. The sheriff helped us. CHP helped us. It was an amazing, amazing effort from our region's law enforcement to be able to return this child home to their parents. And I want to appreciate it. I appreciate all the effort from the community. That's it.
You did a great job on it, so thank you very much.
And I appreciate the updates that you keep everybody informed on what's going on, too.
Hey, Dave, did you want to mention something about the cougar today? Or the mountain lion?
Brigantino Park.
Yeah, sorry about that. We had a sighting of a mountain lion back at Brigantino Park. It's closed now. We have the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. I think are coming out tomorrow. I'm not totally sure, actually. There's different levels for wildlife and mitigation for wildlife and threats. So we'll work with them, and Animal Control's also monitoring as well.
My my offer is still on the table to go pet it while it's tranquilized.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
I appreciate that. The scope that'll do it, too.
Hey, can I ask you to do one more, the false alarms? Did you want to talk about that real quick or no?
Oh, yes. You're just very mean.
Well, we talked about that.
Yeah. So we put something out last week at the request of code enforcement. They're doing some false alarm mitigation. We have, in the last 6 months, had 693 false alarms. 693. It costs an enormous amount of money for us to do that and really takes away from our efficiency. So what we're asking people to do is just register their alarm. It's $35. It's a one-time fee. And what that helps us do is if there's an alarm and we can get a hold of the people that are actually responsible for that address, it really helps us mitigate the whole thing. A lot of times what will happen is we've had some addresses, we've had 30, 40 calls there. And that is really a waste of our resources. So again, we're trying to get that information. Some alarm companies will do it for you, but you, as far as the code says, are responsible for getting that information to us. Thank you.
I have to, Mr. Mayor, if I could really quick, I do have to hand it to the alarm companies, because only a business like that can they charge somebody to install an alarm, yet have somebody go out and do the work of responding to the work that they're creating. It's unbelievable to me, and to be honest with you, the alarm companies are the ones that need to be fined for the false alarms, not just, so they could actually start taking some responsibility for the work of their installation and all that good stuff. But it just bothers me that we're sending resources to these alarms. Hopefully we'll be able to recoup some of that cost to do this registration. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I have one question, Chief, on that registration. Is there a place online where people can register?
Actually, the form is actually on the police department website under forms.
Okay.
And they can pull it off. And actually, I believe Mike Chambliss and my staff are actually redesigning that form right now to make it a little more user-friendly.
Okay. So if people ask the question, we get down and go to the police department website, and that's on the forms there.
Correct, yeah. Just under the forms tab, you'll find it, alarm permit.
Okay.
And if I could add to Dave's report, that really is just police false alarms. Fire has about the same number. And when you look about the resources that's exhausted, one cop, one car is not good. But when we respond to a fire alarm, it's an engine and 3 people. So that's a huge amount of resources that are being wasted on false alarms. So.
Thank you very much. Item H, I, J, and K, no business.
Move for adjournment.
Second? Oh, there's a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming out tonight.